This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Great news, millions of checks have hit bank accounts so far with the monthly child tax credit and the unemployment tax refund. I'll give you the details of who got checks so far. And the $3.5 trillion Democratic human infrastructure bill is gaining steam. I'll play you a video clip from President Biden and a Democrat senator talking about the progress moving forward. And Florida becomes the latest state to create a lawsuit to get the $300 unemployment boost benefits back. And I'll give you some other important updates along the way. Hope you're having a terrific Thursday. If you appreciate these fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. And I'm giving out $200 checks to my subscribers, and I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, let's start with the good news. So money in the bank. Child tax credit dollars are heading to parents. So I got a bunch of comments yesterday. So Chris Harris said, child tax credit actually hit my bank account today. He said that yesterday. Barbara Johnson, I know a few people who got their child tax credit as of July 14th. Sheila Wallace said, got our child tax credit today, and a bunch of other people said that they got the child tax credit, which is great news. So that is $250 or $300 per kid, depending on how many kids you have, and you're going to get that month after month until the end of December. So also, the Democrat lawmakers call for permanent expansion of the $3,000 child tax credit. So just as these child tax credits are going out, it's actually only set for 1 year. In January, you're actually going to get the other half of your child tax credit. What they're saying is, a bunch of representatives are saying, we have a real opportunity to not just throw money at a problem, but to lift up all children and families. So they want to make that permanent. It might happen in the next human infrastructure bill. Also, other great news, IRS is sending out 4 million refunds this week to taxpayers who overpaid on their 2020 tax benefits. So average checks are around $1,265. Direct deposits started yesterday, July 14th, and paper checks are going out the 16th, and I got a few comments on this as well. So Michaela Byron said, my husband was on unemployment and this morning got a deposit of $360. Also, Sarah M said, got my unemployment tax refund today. So it looks like a lot of people are getting the unemployment tax refund, which could be up to $1,000. I've seen some as high as $2,000. And also, speaking of unemployment, a lawsuit to be filed against Florida hopes to restore Florida pandemic unemployment compensation for unemployed. So Florida is another one of those 27 states that canceled the unemployment benefits early, and they're the latest to start a lawsuit. Probably going to see lawsuits in almost every single one of those countries, especially since Maryland won the lawsuit, and now people are getting back that $300 per week unemployment boost. A poll just came out yesterday. 1.8 million Americans have turned down jobs due to unemployment benefits. So this is the poll right here. 13.8% said that they turned down jobs because of childcare obligations, and then tied at 13% was COVID or any combination of reasons associated with the pandemic. And then also at 13%, I have received enough money from unemployment insurance without having to work. So looks like this was a big reason why people did not decide to take the jobs, according to this poll, which is one of the reasons why the states canceled the unemployment benefits. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you think it's okay for states to restore the $300 per week unemployment benefits? The ones that canceled it, should it be canceled? Should it go on till September? Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about how the Democrats reach a deal on a $3.5 trillion price tag for infrastructure bill. So this just came out a couple of days ago. We still don't know the full details of what's in it. It should be released very shortly. Chuck Schumer said that he is working to unify Democrats ahead of infrastructure fight, because even though a deal has been reached, kind of like a lot of you have said, you'll believe it when you see it in your bank account. We'll believe it when we see it on paper, when we see something passed, when we see Congress actually take action, because up until this point, a lot of it is just talk. What Chuck Schumer said is, we know the road ahead is going to be long. There are bumps along the way. This is only the first step in the long road we will have to travel and must travel. So looks like moving forward, This is the path for the Democrats because they don't need any Republican support with this reconciliation bill, which is now going to be called the Human Infrastructure Bill, which is good because there's like 5 different names for it. So I think from now on we'll call it the Human Infrastructure Bill. Here is President Biden talking about this at the meeting he had with fellow Democrats.
Infrastructure. And it's a bipartisan plan. I think we're in good shape. There may be some slight adjustments of the pay for it, and that's going to get down to what the Congress wants to do. I've laid out how I think we pay for it, and we have an agreement. We have an agreement. There may be slight changes. I'm not sure what may happen, exactly how, but it's going to be paid for, and that's what we're going to do. So thank you all very much.
Mr. President, any concern that having 2 tracks here will disrupt the bipartisan agreement that was worked out?
No, I think it's the only way to get it done is having 2 tracks. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, when President Biden was asked that question of whether the 2 tracks is going to mess up the bipartisan deal, I think it already is. I think Republicans were really happy to have a deal with the Democrats that they were going to have physical infrastructure, and then a few hours later, Democrats said, hey, we're also going to do our own thing on the side, and I think that messed up the mojo between the Democrats and Republicans. Now, if Democrats just waited a little bit to pass the physical infrastructure, that was all done. That could have been passed right away, and then later on do the reconciliation bill, I think things would have been a lot different. I do think it is messing up things with the Republicans and the bipartisan infrastructure package. So the GOP's John Thune warns that $3.5 trillion deal complicates bipartisan infrastructure bill. So what John Thune said is having the budget resolution conversation around this complicates the issue and makes it clear that Democrats' ultimate objectives are, and if they are able to achieve those, yeah, it creates a lot of heartburn for our members. Most Democrat senators are definitely on board. I'll let you know what Joe Manchin said, but first I want to share with you what Elizabeth Warren said about this. Just a reminder where Elizabeth Warren is and her track record and her street cred when it comes to stimulus and stimulus checks. So with a 4th stimulus check, Senator Ed Markey, Elizabeth Warren pushed President Joe Biden for $2,000 monthly checks. Also, Elizabeth Warren was one of the people who wanted the $200 per month for all Social Security beneficiaries, along with Chuck Schumer and Ron Wyden. And this was a plan to give more than 60 million Americans an additional $4,000 over 2 years. So Elizabeth Warren wanted that. We haven't heard much about the $200 per month increase, even though it still is on President Biden's website. She was also one of the 28 lawmakers who want stimulus checks recurring in Biden's infrastructure plan. So she wanted all of those things. Here is what Elizabeth Warren says about the package moving forward.
It is a delicate balance, and there's a risk for the White House that either one of these pieces gets moving too far out in front of the other, because you kind of need them both to continue moving in parallel to keep everybody on board. On the reconciliation piece, I have to tell you, it's been very warmly received from the left. Obviously, you had Bernie Sanders as the chief author of this as Budget Committee chairman. I interviewed Elizabeth Warren earlier today, who really embraced this and also gave a little bit of a clue of the fights ahead to make sure beyond that top line money, the money gets to various Democratic priorities. Here's what she told me about where she wants to make sure it goes. I don't hear any disappointment from you that this number's not bigger.
Look, I'll always be pushing to make the number bigger. But right now, my job is to say, that's a lot of money. And I want to make sure it's there to cover childcare in a meaningful way, high quality, available childcare, and that it's there to hit on the climate crisis. So now we're down into okay, we've got a top line number. It really becomes what we can do for the American people. This is our chance.
So you hear a little bit of a preview there of the debates ahead amongst and between Democrats. And one thing that Senator Warren said there that I don't think anyone will disagree with is this is a ton of money. I think that's what we're watching for when it comes to the Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema side of the picture. Manchin said he really wants to make sure that this is credibly paid for, that it's paid for all the way through. Kyrsten Sinema, by the way, saying even less than that, essentially that the top line number here doesn't really matter. She wants to see the breakdowns for how money gets to Arizona. And as you said, obviously, Republicans aren't really part of this discussion. They can sit on the sidelines. They can snipe at what is in this reconciliation package as it starts to come together. But whether that number is so big that it scares away some of the perhaps more moderate Republicans who might otherwise want to spend the money that's set aside in the bipartisan deal remains to be seen.
Elizabeth Warren is right. $3.5 trillion is so much money. Even though you're hearing it over and over, we hear $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. I don't think we realize how big it actually is. So if we look right here at this image, it shows you how big $100 is, $10,000 is basically one of those stacks, $1 million, and then $100 million is basically the size of an average person on a pallet, and then $1 billion is 10 of these pallets right here, so that's a lot of money. And then if you look at $1 trillion, you could see this, it's the size of basically a soccer field. $1 trillion, all of these pallets lined up. Here's another image I found here. So this is $1 trillion, what it looks like. If you look at these semi trucks and how big it is compared to these people, $1 trillion is huge. So if you just imagine how big $3.5 trillion is, it is a ton of money, and we don't even know where that money is being spent yet, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about this $1 trillion, $3.5 trillion? Is it too much money? Is it not enough? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. Next, Joe Manchin, one of those Democrats who just can't leave behind because he has a lot of power in the situation. He's standing up and saying, I won't vote for this package unless blank, unless this, unless that. So Joe Manchin actually says he is open to the $3.5 trillion Democratic budget deal under one condition, as long as it could be paid for. So that was one of the stipulations, saying, yes, it could happen, but I want to know how we're going to pay for it. So what he said is, so we're anxious to basically review it. They've worked hard on it. We want to see it. Also, I've been very clear that I want to see the pay-fors and make sure that whatever we do is globally competitive. So even Joe Manchin, senator on the inside, hasn't even seen where this $3.5 trillion is going to be spent. Also, Joe Manchin says he is very, very disturbed about the reconciliation proposals on climate change. So where it looks like there's going to be a little more work to have to be done to please Joe Manchin, King Joe Manchin. Anyways, that is all the stimulus news I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here is my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I'm going to tell something what you should do. Don't let anybody tell you different. You are beautiful. You are full with excitement. You are great the way you are. Don't let anybody tell you any different. You are great the way you are. You are full with excitement, and you are great just the way you are within person. Bye. That's all I wanted to say for you. And be yourself. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching up until this point, and thank you so much for being part of the Wise Flies community. And to give back, I'm going to give away $200 checks to my subscribers, so I'm going to explain exactly how to do this. First, the $200 checks are just basically a physical check that I'm going to mail to the winners, and you could do whatever you want with the check. You could pay your rent with it, your utilities, mortgage, buy food, pay off your debt. It's just a straight check, no app, no gift cards, nothing like that, just a straight regular check. So the ways that you could win for this, this $200 check, you have to do three things. One, be subscribed to this channel, as well as my two other channels, Wise Sense and Wise Vibes. I'll have links to that down in the description below. Second thing, you have to write down in the comments below, just on this video alone, say what you're thankful for. So write the word thankful so I could find your comment, and just say what you're thankful for. And the third thing is you have to like each of these videos up until July 25th, which is when I'm going to announce the winners of these $200 checks. So those are the three things. And so yeah, let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll see you in the next video. So if you want to check out any of my other channels, you could click this link up here. This is usually one of my Wise Sense or Wise Vibes channels over here, or click this link down over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.